The hardest truth about healing, compliance, collapse, and the quiet co author, a reckoning with the self. We talk about recovery, about survival, about what was done to us. We talk about the lies, the mirroring, the abandonment, the horror. We talk about them, what they did, how they saw us, how they left. And yet, what about us? What about the part of us that stayed, that chose to stay, that saw the red flags flapping like warning beacons in the burning sky? What about the part that enjoyed being seen through the narcissist's gaze? The false mirror that said, "You're special, you're chosen, you're finally enough." What about our compliance? The unspoken pact and every narcissistic entanglement, beneath the manipulation, beneath all the confabulation, beneath the pain, there is an unspoken pact. You see me as perfect, and I will ignore that I am vanishing. You elevate me with fantasies, and I will suppress the part of me that says, this isn't real. You offer me escape from my ordinary, shame bound self, and I will abandon that self for good. This is compliance. This is co authorship. This is the part of the recovery that the recovery space itself, if ever, touches. Because it hurts too much. Because it implicates us. Because it requires accountability. The narcissistic redeemer in us. At some point, we stop asking, why did they do this to me? And we start whispering, why did I do this to me? Because the truth is, in many cases, we abandoned ourselves first. We handed ourselves over to the fantasy. We enjoyed being redeemed by the narcissist, not for who we are, but for who they projected onto us. A better version, a shinier self, a rebirth. And in that redemption, we felt safe. And we lost the truth self, the fractured shell. Now that it's over, the fantasy shattered, the Redeemer gone, we stand among the wreckage. And what remains? A false self, once inflated through idealization, now fractured, desperate, panicked, and beneath it, that mute child, that original self, pre-verbal, pre-personal, curled up in a corner of the psyche, whispering, "What have you done to me?" But we don't hear that voice. We're still too busy blaming them, still too busy protecting the shame of co authorship, the narcissism of the wounded. There is a narcissism born out of survival, a narcissism that says, I am the most hurt, I was the most betrayed, I need to be seen as entirely innocent. And while they were hurt, deeply, structurally, we must also ask, at what point did I become narcissistic myself? When did I start performing? When did I stop being real? When did I decide it was better to be adored than to be known? The age of collapse, mirror and truth. The age of collapse is the moment when the inner system disintegrates, not because of them, but because of the architecture of avoidance can no longer hold. The internal voices, the false self, the interjects, the borrowed ideals are all screaming at once. You're not enough. You should have known. You loved being seen. You're just like them. And maybe, for a moment, we hear something else. The truth self, tiny, trembling, saying, be honest with me, please, I'm still here. Real recovery is reckoning. Real recovery isn't about no contact slogans. It's not about endlessly replaying the abuse tape. It's not about diagnosis porn or TikTok sound bites. It's about walking back into the room of the self we left behind and saying, I did abandon you. I did sell you out. I was scared. I wanted to feel whole, even if it meant faking it. I let their fantasy matter more than your truth. And now I'm here. The praxis of accountability. Accountability does not mean blaming yourself. It means reclaiming authorship. It means realizing that you were seduced because you were starving for self, that you collapsed because the fantasy was safer than reality, that you stayed because some part of you still hoped the projection could be real. And it means saying that you were there the whole time, watching, complying, and collapsing. From compliance to coherence. The narcissist didn't just break your heart, they fractured your structure, but only because you let them build it. Now the work is this: take down the borrowed scaffolding, own the truth of your own compliance, forgive yourself, rebuild slowly, honestly, with grit, but with grace. Not as a victim, but as someone who saw the lie, felt the pull, chose the fantasy, and then chose to wake up. Welcome home. You are not the fantasy. You are not the false self. You are not the voices. You are the one who paused, who listened, who reclaimed the self. And now you begin. Peace out. Loads of love.